Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Do what you can, with what you have, where you are. Comparison is the thief of joy. Argument weak. Speak loudly. The poorest way to face life is to face it with a sneer. Keep your eyes on the stars and your feet on the ground. No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. When you play, play hard. When you work, don't play at all. No triumph of peace can equal the armed triumph of war. Order without liberty and liberty without order are equally destructive. A thorough knowledge of the Bible is worth more than a college education. It is hard to fail, but it is worse never to have tried to succeed. A good navy is not a provocation to war. It is the surest guarantee of peace. The only man who never makes mistakes is the man who never does anything. Complaining about a problem without posing a solution is called whining. The light has gone out of my life. Knowing what's right doesn't mean much unless you do what's right. When you're at the end of your rope, tie a knot and hold on. No man is above the law, and no man is below it. Let us rather run the risk of wearing out than rusting out. Nothing worth having was ever achieved without effort. I am a part of everything that I have read. I dream of men who take the next step instead of worrying about the next 1,000 steps. Do something now. If not you, who? If not here, where? If not now, when? All the resources we need are in the mind. Work hard at work worth doing. The welfare of each of us is dependent fundamentally upon the welfare of all of us. With self-discipline, most anything is possible. Speak softly and carry a big stick. You will go far. He who makes no mistakes makes no progress. To anger a conservative, lie to him. To anger a liberal, tell him the truth. Leave it as it is. The ages have been at work on it, and man can only mar it. Black care rarely sits behind the rider whose pace is fast enough. Americans learn only from catastrophe and not from experience. It is not the critic who counts. The joy in life is his who has the heart to demand it. What I am to be, I am becoming. I put myself in the way of things happening, and they happened. Absence and death are the same, only that in death there is no suffering. For those who fight for it, life has a flavor the sheltered will never know. It's not having been in the dark house, but having left it that counts. Patriotism means to stand by the country. It does not mean to stand by the president. The wildlife in its habitat cannot speak, so we must and we will. Let us speak courteously, deal fairly, and keep ourselves armed and ready. Unless the man is master of his soul, all other kinds of mastery amount to little. Rhetoric is a poor substitute for action. Don't hit at all if it is honorably possible to avoid hitting, but never hit soft. No president has ever enjoyed himself as much as I. Get action. Seize the moment. Man was never intended to become an oyster. The worst of all fears is the fear of living. Most of us tiptoe through life in order to make it safely to death. There is no effort without error or shortcoming. Thank God for the iron in the blood of our fathers. It is always better to be an original than an imitation. Big jobs usually go to the men who prove their ability to outgrow small ones. Where a trust becomes a monopoly, the state has an immediate right to interfere. Courtesy is as much a mark of a gentleman as courage. With great victory comes great sacrifice. The reason fat men are good-natured is they can neither fight nor run. Oh, if only I could be president in Congress, too, just for 10 minutes. To exist as a nation, to prosper as a state, and to live as a people, we must have trees. The White House is a bully pulpit. You can't choose your potential, but you can choose to fulfill it. If given the choice between righteousness and peace, I choose righteousness. Malefactors of great wealth have arrogantly ignored the public welfare. Honesty first, then courage, then brains, and all are indispensable. I never keep boys waiting. It's a hard trial for a boy to wait. Each man must work for himself, and unless he so works, no outside help can avail him. I do. That is character. If you've got them by the balls, their hearts and minds will follow. I would a great deal rather be anything, say professor of history, than vice president. To educate a person without teaching ethics is to create a menace to society. Don't foul, don't flinch, hit the line hard. The most practical kind of politics is the politics of decency. There is but one answer to terrorism, and it is best delivered with a Winchester rifle. McKinley has no more backbone than a chocolate eclair. In life, as in football, the principle to follow is to hit the line hard. The Constitution was made for the people and not the people for the Constitution. Cowardice in a race, as in an individual, is the unpardonable sin. We stand at Armageddon and we battle for the Lord. Conservation means development as much as it does protection. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. A vote is like a rifle, its usefulness depends upon the character of the user. It is not what we have that will make us a great nation, it is the way in which we use it. Bodily vigor is good, and vigor of intellect is even better, but far above is character. Not trying is the surest way of achieving nothing at all. I am only an average man, but, by George, I work harder at it than the average man. Perhaps there is no more important component of character than steadfast resolution. Freedom means the supremacy of human rights everywhere. There can be no greater issue than that of conservation in this country. The Armenian massacre was the greatest crime of the war. Society has no business to permit degenerates to reproduce their kind. The one thing I want to leave my children is an honorable name. No, I'm not a good shot, but I shoot often. I am simply unable to understand the value placed by so many people upon great wealth. To hell with the Constitution when people want coal. Councils of war never fight. I do not believe there was ever a life more attractive than life on a cattle farm. No man should receive $1 unless that dollar has been fairly earned.